hitting the start recording button once again. So I'm not going to set up the Docker setup again. That's up to you. I'm actually a little bit afraid that when I start it now, I'll get another memory issue. However, it should be fairly easy to set up. If you just say docker compose up, it should work more or less. We're currently working on the seed data. It will get merged today. So when this pull request is merged, you should be able to access seed data. And Neo4j gives you a nice visualization of all the graph data in your database. So you can play around with that. All right, so is that, I think this is good enough for an introduction. Any questions from your side, Michael and Matt? I just wanted to tell you about the new technology stack.
Okay, one thing I was wondering why you chose Neo4j.
Yeah? Oh yeah.
For example, there's also I think an alternative which is pretty interesting looking at least to me, is GraphQL, which is also something like a graph database.
No, GraphQL is the interface. So GraphQL is responsible for the communication with your server and your front end. That's GraphQL. We're using GraphQL.
Okay, and you're plugging in then and as a backend the Neo4j
Exactly.
database.
And between, you communicate with, GraphQL is a substitution for REST. Right? And you have your server, your middleware, and this middleware is the connecting to the front end via GraphQL, and it's running on the server, so it has access to this Neo4j database, which is not accessible directly to the outside world. Right? So your backend is the server, and we are just using some pieces of JavaScript, and no Feathers.js anymore, no big framework, just Node.js and a library that connects with Neo4j. Basically, we are transforming the GraphQL requests into Cypher, which is the query language, and that's it. So that was actually the reason why we chose to do this technology shift. So Greg, he explored a little bit the new technologies, and he came to the conclusion that it is much less code. If we drop MongoDB and drop Feathers.js, it was difficult in the past. It gave us a lot of headache. The complexity was high. We had a lot of bugs, really, a lot of bugs. And it was always difficult to implement hooks in Feathers.js. And with Neo4j, it's much less code. And at some point, Greg said, okay, it would be better to make a rewrite from scratch because we are changing the interfaces. We're changing the databases. So it's so much code that we are changing that it doesn't make sense to step-by-step migrate the old code base. We are doing a fresh start from scratch, and we're working on that. And we're also having new repositories. Okay, so I really dislike starting from scratch, especially if you have already 2,000 or whatsoever users, or almost 3,000. However, Dennis and Victor, they told us that we can do that to the community. That is, they will say, okay, it's okay. I will keep donating to the organization. It's okay if we are switching from one application to a completely new application, which might have fewer features or different features that compared to the old one. All right. So I think we have a new attendant. So there's Marcus, there's Michael, there's Matt, and who is fellow Jitster?
That's Nick. Nick is fighting a bit. He probably has to restart. Sorry?
Continue, Marcus.
Yeah, okay, wait. So I switched off my camera so you don't have to watch my hairs, and I'm just chatting with him, trying to make it work for him. Maybe he has to reboot once, like Robert and me, but we will make it. So he will listen.
Can you speak a little bit louder? I have
Camera
currently
seems to be
some
working. I
troubles
see
to
a
understand you.
scalp. I see a scalp. Let's take his scalp. Where's the knife?
I couldn't hear you because the volume wasn't turned off, wasn't turned up. Can you speak? Can you repeat that, please, Marcus?
Nick, we can't hear you, but we can see your head.
Okay, cool. Nick is there. Nice. Hi, Nick. Yeah, Nick is one of our moderators along with Marcus. So they are in charge for moderating the community. If there's some arguments and so on, so they can handle that. Also, Marcus is becoming our new sysadmin, system administrator. We went through a workshop today in order to set up the staging environment for the current code base. Okay. Is this something new to you? What do you think about that? Matt? Michael?
Which one?
Everything.
Well, the change, or I mean the change to Nitro, or what do you mean now?
For example.
I don't know what I should say. I mean, yeah, well, when I still developed in Delphi, and that is pretty much a couple of years ago, about 15 or so. Then I sometimes also started just doing the projects from scratch again because I missed too much out and I had too much bugs in there, and then I got a new approach, and it can happen. It's not like this is unnatural, I would say. Though many business decisions or deciders don't want to hear that. Just trash it and then create a new one.
Yeah, I think we have an amazing community that they are okay with that. I hope we don't how do you say in English, Matt? Overwhelm the patience of our users, right? Because we have to set up staging. All right, so there's another announcement I would like to make.
You wanted to say?
Yes, Marcus, you want to say something?
Overstrain the patience.
Overstrain the patience of our users. That's perfect. Thank you, Marcus. There's one more thing.
Do you want,
Marcus?
Yeah.
Say something. Marcus, you're muted. Now you're not muted. Marcus? Okay, this is you're again muted. Member is muted. Marcus, please unmute yourself.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Everything I do and say is delayed. I have a delay. I don't know why. Maybe it's my internet connection. I'm just listening from now on, okay?
No, I want to make this an active discussion here. I just want to keep up, like I want to put all the new developments into the people are currently attending, right? So Michael, I know we haven't talked for a while. Matt also, you've been a little bit out of sync, so I just wanted to get you up to sync now. Matt is nodding his head.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense what you're saying. I don't have any experience with GraphQL or with the what is it called, the Neo4j. Yeah, but I've got I'm in the background installing the stuff, and yeah, I understand your concerns about kind of starting over, but also it seems really cool that you have a community that's at least willing to be patient, and hopefully that patience continues.
I
Gives
hope
the
so
engine
too.
time for us to do our job.
Yeah, and that's where you get in. We want to create more active contributors here. So, Matt, would you be interested into learning new technologies, including GraphQL, Neo4j, and so on?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Nice. By the way, we are sticking to Vue.js for the front end because we like Vue.js,
Mhm.
but we are also renewing the front end part because the interface has changed. Okay, so we're not using REST, and there's a lot of code in the front end that we would have to replace. So we are also renewing the front end for that reason.
Mhm.
Yeah, cool, nice. All right. So maybe I want to show you our projects board with the new issues. So it's really brand new, and I'm not well prepared, but maybe I can share my screen. You should see my screen now. And I'm going to GitHub. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
So there is this new board, which I hope you can all see. If not, we have to change that. So I see 9 project boards, and there's the Nitro, the user stories for Nitro. And as far as I know, this should be. Oh no! Whoops. This one here, Nitro up for grabs. This one should be public. So you can all go to this link now and give me some feedback if you can see this board.
Yeah, I can see it.
Nice. So here are our very first user stories that might be a good first issue. Also, it's not comprehensive, so something that you can also have a look into is this one here. I'm going into, oops, no, that's not the one. Nitro backend. There's the pull request. So you have, before you can actually see anything, you have to, the seed data is currently broken. So before you start developing, you should maybe merge in this pull request locally. And yeah, there are a lot of other pull requests that need to be reviewed. And there's also one issue that I already told Greg about. So I'm going to create one bug report. Problem is here. That's something for you, for the open source community. I haven't seen it on the board, but I'm now going to create it. So in the code, we have middlewares, and these middlewares get loaded into the server. So here's the middleware, and when we create our server, which is this GraphQL server, we are using GraphQL Yoga, which is a library for quickly setting up GraphQL server with Apollo and so on. We put this middleware somewhere here. All right. So what's the middleware doing? The middleware, for example, is doing authentication and authorization. Okay, so if you, for example, go into the permissions middleware, then you see that we are checking certain roles. For example, is administrator or is moderator? And you can see here that these strings are capitalized, or they are all caps, okay? And I'm putting that into into the chat window. So I'm going to create one more issue now, because I know that there's seats in the database are written with lowercase. So here's a bug, and I desperately need people to help me to fix the bug. Where is it? Admin? Cluster admin? No. There we go. So here, this is the line where we create seed data with a row admin, but this here is written lowercase. Okay, so the permission middleware will fail to identify you as an administrator. And I'm currently setting up tests. Sorry. Here, in order to expose this bug. So there's more. I just keep pasting in links for you. I hope you don't mind. Where I'm trying to expose this particular problem here, right? So I'm expecting that when I'm an authenticated user, I'm not permitted to read the statistics, but as an admin I am. And here we need more in the test case, okay? So I was talking for quite a while now and couldn't hear anybody. Can somebody give me some feedback and speak to me if it was a little bit too quick?
Meow.
Meow. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense what you said. And I'm still here. Mic check.
Yeah, I couldn't really prepare myself for the open source community meeting, so otherwise I could show you live demos or anything like that. Right now I was just checking out Jitsi and wanted to make you aware of the new technology stack and ask you to happily do the setup maybe, validate the README, give us feedback, and also send us bug reports if you encounter any, and ask questions if you have questions regarding the technology, and so on.
I'm getting an error when I'm trying to yarn install ignore the tag ignore engines on the style guide for the web.
Okay, that's a good question, Matt. Can you maybe show us your screen?
Yeah. Let me remember how to screen share here, and I'll probably have to unplug my monitor. One of the members there, Agile Ventures, he's meaning to show me is software with Linux that you can choose, but for now I can't choose the screen to share. I can either share both or not at all.
That's okay. I think I can see everything you're doing here.
So it's like I ran the commands here, like just modifying it for fish, and like I think it looks like here it didn't enter or maybe it did. Yeah, it looks like it did, because then I got this error here.
Yeah, so the style guide, the so-called style guide, is a piece of code. It's intended to show you the components that we use for Vue.js. So Vue.js is a component framework, and for example, a component might be a button. It could be a form. It could be a header. It could be parts of the website. They can also have behavior, all right? So you can click on them or you can whatever. And this style guide is a test bed where you can see the components in action. So you see the code, and it's doing a live transpilation, and you should see the component in your browser. So you have, I cannot show you to you because it's not working on my machine, but it is supposed to show you like the code and the component, how it should look like, right? So it should help you. It's actually something for you for testing out new components, how they look, how they feel. Could be of value for designers, where you can change the styling, all right? So they can change colors or they can change fonts and see the effect. It doesn't work. It's custom code. It's custom code. The style guide was developed by Jörg. Jörg is a former team member of Human Connection, and he implemented the style guide. It is supposed to become, I think, an NPM package, but it is not yet. It is based on the styles of Shopify. Do you know Shopify, the company?
Yeah.
I don't know if Jörg ever worked for Shopify, but I don't know. All I know is that this style guide is based on the Shopify styles. However, the style guide sometimes just doesn't work. So that is one thing that needs to be improved. Greg opted in to incorporate the style guide into the new version of Human Connection. Now we have to live with it, and we have to contribute to it and fix it and make it more easily to import it, right? So we are not using a CSS framework like Bootstrap or Semantic UI as for RFM. We're using Semantic UI there, or Materialize or whatever. We are implementing our own CSS framework, which I think might put some extra workload on us, but that's how it is.
Yep.
And if you running into, we will probably not be able to fix the problem right now, but maybe you want to switch into the directory, run yarn install, maybe check out what's going on behind the scenes, run style guide build or something like that until you fix it. And we are trying to provide bug fixes for the setup. Otherwise, you could also try the Docker setup. The Docker setup should be stable, in a sense. All right. Anybody who joined us? Marcus, Michael, and Nico. But Nico, you cannot talk. Can you? You're currently muted. I just see your wall.
And the head. Nick is probably still fighting with the low
Microphone.
sound problem. I figure he would hear us, otherwise he wouldn't be here. But if you can talk, Nick, and hear me, try to unmute and say something. Okay. I think he can then.
Or maybe you want to
continue. I think he can listen.
Yeah, or maybe we want to continue with Michael. Michael, I couldn't hear anything about you regarding if you're interested into the new technology. Would you be interested into working with GraphQL and Neo4j? Is it something that's interesting for you? It's also valuable feedback if we learn from our community members if they actually enjoy working with their technology stack.
Well, I think it's good to see something new. I don't know how I will like it. I have to be honest about that. Not because I like the older ones better, but some technologies are kind of tend to be awkward depending on where you come from. But I will try it out and see how good it suits. And at least it's something new to learn.
Yeah, I'm also actually super excited about the new technologies. Although I have to admit that it's probably not the best user experience to do that kind of thing. Yeah. Maybe I also want to tell you a little bit about the current collaboration with other social networks. It's a pity that Tibor from Community is not with us today. He was with us last Thursday, and I don't know if did he say something in our Discord?
No, but he said on the CO chat that he's very busy this week.
I see. Okay, so maybe he's going to join us next time. Who is certainly going to join us next time is Simon. Simon is working for another similar social network called WeChange. He's the developer there, and he signaled interest in collaboration, technology-wise or content-wise. That is, the ultimate goal for us would be some kind of social network where it doesn't matter where you sign up, they connect to each other. You can see posts from other social networks, and vice versa. So when you post in your social network, in your current instance, they get published to other social networks, right? So they need some kind of communication, and there's this W3C standard called ActivityPub. This one here. And it's also something very valuable for you to check out. So I think we came to the conclusion, team-wise, that it's a good idea to enforce collaboration with other social networks, because they share the same values and they have the same goals. And it would be a pity not to join forces, right? So maybe Marcus, can you maybe send us links to WeChange and Community? So for example, Matt or Michael, they can also check out the feature sets of these social networks.
Definitely, yeah. If you give me a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Mhm.
Okay. Just give me a minute, I'll post it in the chat. You can go on in the meantime.
Yeah, that's actually all. Maybe Matt, you want to tell us, or you want to introduce Agile Ventures to the people here, because I am on Agile Ventures as well, but neither is Marcus nor Michael or Nico, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Agile Ventures. Actually, I have a talk about Agile Ventures that that was just published. I gave a talk in São Paulo, but it's an online learning community that I found out about like almost exactly 1 year ago through online course, Ruby course, and I joined. And like we have daily scrums, so every morning we meet with each other and talk about what we've done and what we're going to do, and help each other get through any blockers. And then we have we've had hundreds of projects throughout like the 5 years that it's been going on, but at the moment we have like 11 more active projects. So anyone can sign up to be a member of Agile Ventures. It's free to use, and anyone can create a project as long as it's open source and it's not for profit. And yeah, then you can like signing up, you get access to the Slack channel, which is a very active Slack channel. So you can help to organize people to volunteer on your project, and you can coordinate meetings. And
Matt, could you maybe share your screen and show us the Slack channel, and maybe so that people can see the video recordings inside the Slack channel?
So you have this is the site here where there's a book club that I thought was going to be canceled today because it's it's Thanksgiving in the United States, and the guy who's running it is from there. But later in some minutes I have a pairing session in Met Plus. Of course, we have RFM as well, which was actually the first open source project that I started working on. And Yeah, and so this is the Slack channel. You can see here it's like many channels, and
Maybe you want to
then
show us the new member Slack channel so people can see the total number of members in Agile Ventures.
yeah, I think, or even general might even have more. Yeah, it's like almost 3,000 members that
Yeah.
are still part of the
So
Slack.
people who
3,000.
want to learn coding, who want to learn programming from around the world, they can sign up at Agile Ventures, get access to this messenger, and
Hmm.
then there's a list of active projects, and they can just join. And then they get free education, they can have people they can talk to. In case of RFM, we have a regular meeting every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central European time, and sorry, 7 p.m. now, after the clock change. And it's great because this is one way of pushing forward the open source community. All right. Does that make sense, Michael, Marcus? Do you get an idea what's this about?
Yeah, but I can't see Matt's screen.
I think you have to click
I don't know why.
on Matt's avatar. So when you double click on Matt,
Oh,
then the entire screen will show the desktop of Matt. So what he's currently viewing is,
wait a
Matt,
sec.
can you tell us what you're showing us?
Yep. So this is like the events page, which actually we have like a week-long sprint coming up next week, where one of the big high-level things that we want to do is make this more performance, because it's like takes a long time to load,
Yeah, so
and that's like that user experience.
the entire website of Agile Ventures is community maintained. That's what
Mhm.
you're talking about.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, this they have like has like a pseudonym website one, and yeah, like people can go there and practice their coding skills. So we have like some tickets that are just like doing some simple refactoring that we're kind of like, instead of just grabbing and working on, we're kind of saving for people who are coming in through the course, or coming in and wanting to just get their feet wet on like contributing to an open source project.
Yeah, and they usually they choose projects based on the technology stack. So we, for example, could also pitch Human Connection to Agile Ventures. Say
Yeah,
it's
that's a really good
Vue.js,
idea.
it's GraphQL, Node, and Neo4j, which I think will be very interesting to many people.
Yeah, we don't have any project. This like projects by programming language. This is pulled in from the GitHub API, and you can see here we don't have any projects that actually this probably needs. Oh, okay, there's more here. But there should be React in here, and I'm not seeing it. That's interesting.
Maybe as
Yeah,
next project sort that list.
Yeah,
that's
the
screenshot.
website is also community maintained. So Matt could now open a bug report on website 1, that's the name of the repository, and tell us that apparently the list of programming languages or frameworks is not updated.
Yeah.
Screenshot.
Yeah, someone did that for Elixir. I guess like the thing is that it relies on, like, you have the ability. It's actually another thing that you can create a new project, which I've tried to do for something we're working on, and like you can put your GitHub URL here, and you can do primary, and then you can go adding more repos. And so the way it's currently grabbing the languages is just by like this primary URL. So sometimes the projects don't have they don't have like the main GitHub URL, like the main repo, or like in the case of Human Connection, that'd be something that we'd have to work out, because maybe we'd have a way for people to be able to add languages that the project uses, and not rely solely on the on pulling it in from the GitHub API. Because if you had the 4 repos here, then just the first one would it would look like maybe you just uses Vue.js, or
Yeah, I will be off for a couple of minutes. I will keep the webcam open. I'll just excuse myself, and you can talk more about Agile Ventures. And Marcus and Michael, you can ask questions. Hopefully, either Marcus can explain them to you, or Matt.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah, sure.
I guess like I kind of said a lot. Does anyone have any questions?
So, do I get that right? That this Agile Ventures basically is just a platform to get the developers who are interested in programming in, well, any kind of projects get together and for the sake of it, or how does it
Yep. I
work?
mean, that's one side of it. So, and then the other side of it is like getting bits to get like solutions, tech solutions, either for free or at a discounted rate, like, so we do have like paying clients, and then we have other projects that aren't paying. They're just there to help teach um, and get teach new developers or people who are wanting to change the languages that they're using, or upskill, and then at the same time like get people working on like build a culture of open source development.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, we've had more than 9,000 volunteers throughout the time. um, and like there are like premium services as well that like if the free services give like members access to Slack and Scrums and project logistics, user experience, like you all that stuff, and then you can opt to to pay a small amount monthly depending on how, if you want more support from senior developers. There's the highest level is like face to face, where you have like face-to-face catered pairing sessions with like a senior developer who can help guide like your professional development. And you can also like sponsor a developer as well. So a lot of our members are from uh, areas that are typically don't have a lot of money to be able to pay for learning programming. And like I guess development is something that you can learn by yourself, and there are lots of free courses and that kind of stuff, but this is like learning it in a way where you have like some support, and you can bounce your ideas off of other people, or if you get stuck on something, you can have some, like there's uh, we have a tech talk channel here where if you're looking for solutions and you're not finding stuff, you can just come here and you can paste stuff in here, and just wait for people to be able to come in and say, oh yeah, I've seen this before, and why don't you try this, or
Yeah, yeah, but this is the premium features are not necessary.
Yeah.
I would suggest that we open everything for everyone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. Like Agile Ventures is a charity as well, and like I would be in favor of that as well. The challenging thing is like being able, if we had like a regular source of funding, where then I think it'd be easier to have all this, all the services be.
Yeah, it's always difficult to find funding for free and open source.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is as well, is like you have like a lot of the places that were applying for grants or applying for funding are in the UK, for example, where Agile Ventures is a charity. But then like it seems like there's some bias at the fact that it's like it's not something that's specifically designed to benefit only the UK and their citizens. It's like designed to benefit people from all over the world, and it's I mean, I'm not that anyone's given us feedback like, oh, you're helping people in Africa and Brazil and the United States, so we don't want to help you. But it does seem like there's kind of a bias because of that.
That is so sad.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best part of Agile Ventures, that people from areas where they have no access to free education can
Mm-hmm.
get free education on the internet.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Something has happened to
Matt?
the avatars on the right side. They're gone for some reason.
Yeah.
And Marcus wanted to say something. Marcus?
Yeah, that might have been me. There's a little arrow. I wanted them. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, hello.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, are the avatars there? So there's this little arrow. You can press it, and they're gonna look like this. Woo.
Oh yeah, right.
And what I wanted to ask is, Matt, can you go back to that Slack channel
Yes.
and see if you can find there on Slack a user McWimpy?
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
spelled
yeah.
correctly. So
Because I
MCW.
wonder, I just
Huh?
how do I get on? Because I just joined Slack. The spelling is correct.
Yeah.
How do I get to your channel there?
Registration is a bit difficult on
Is there
Slack.
an
So
invite
each
link
instance
or?
has its own authentication and registration. So that's actually something Agile Ventures has to improve. Maybe
Mhm.
have a really good README. Matt, can you maybe?
I can invite people.
Yes,
Uh,
but it would be better if the README itself would be better, like more easy to understand. I had this problem already, that if you just want to register yourself on your own, it's sometimes a little bit difficult.
yeah, I mean, you're talking about maybe the README on website one.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's I've been saying for a little bit that it would be nice to have our README a little bit more like RFMs, and but it can be. I mean, it's something that I could do as well. But I've been trying to see if we can kind of coordinate with some people who are new to the community and want to contribute, but maybe like as like something that we can kind of take on together. Not like it fall on one person's shoulders. But it has been a little challenging. But yeah, the thing is that, like, for example, I invited. I mean, it definitely would, like, improving documentation is great, but like I didn't come in through the README. Like I wonder like how many people are actually coming in through the.
I came in through the README.
Did you?
I
Oh,
did,
okay.
but I already forgot how to do that. Anyhow, it's 5 past 5. Matt, didn't you have an appointment on 5 o'clock?
I kind of do. Although I don't know if anyone will show up, but yeah, I'm going to start a hiring session to do some take a look at some cucumber tests and see if we can improve them on a legacy project.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt you in your daily schedule. It was just the idea.
Yep.
Oh, it's by coincidence. It's 4 p.m. and we have our community developer meeting. Just join.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Matt is also on our Discord channel, Marcus. So you can find him with the account name MattWR18. Is it correct? Cool.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I would probably say goodbye to Matt. You're going to join your other meeting, right?
Yep.
So goodbye.
Thank you, guys. Good to see you.
Bye. Was nice meeting you.
All right. And who's in the
What
call?
again is his tag?
Matt. I can post it in the chat. It's Matt WR18. There you go. No, I did a typo. No, I cannot
Hello.
change it. Matt WRT. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so it's
Robert?
Michael and Marcus. Yes, I can hear you, Marcus.
Robert?
Marcus, I can
Anybody?
hear you very well. Yes.
Anybody still here?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, we're here.
Marcus? I think we can hear you very well, Marcus. Anyways, any questions from your side? Michael, Marcus?
Regarding the Nitro or regarding the venture, Agile Ventures?
Well, this regular meeting is supposed to be a meeting for open source contributors to get in touch with core members, ask questions, get technical help, anything. Maybe I missed to review one of your pull requests, for example. So this is the at least one weekly meeting where you can get in touch with me and anybody. So
Yeah, there are two actually open, but for the old API, I'm not actually sure if we should rather pursue this anymore. But there was Gerald from
yeah, he was
where was it from?
Canada.
Canada,
Mhm.
Canada, right? Who made a pull request on the old one to do some patching on when you delete a comment
Yeah.
that it was not reflected somewhere. And so for that, to actually go through, I had to look up in the API in the older one, because it was returning a 404 when you delete a comment, which is rather weird because it actually found it and deleted it, and then it returned 404. Yeah, obviously it's 404, but yeah, it shouldn't be found then anymore. And that's a bug, or not directly a bug, but a more incompatibility between two hooks in the API, in the Feathers API, the restrict to owner and what was it called, soft delete. So to get his pull request merged, I raised another pull request on the API to fix this, and I need your feedback on that. And I also just pushed or
Maybe-
changed the other one that was
Maybe-
still open for me.
Can you maybe send me the link in the chat?
Yeah, sure.
So there are a couple of pull requests I have to review. I don't know if I can do it now or today because I also want to
Yeah, I mean,
record the tech news, but I will definitely review them at least on tomorrow, on Friday.
yeah, sure.
I will make a to-do. All right, cool. Fix
And the
green.
other one was the Docker setup that I corrected, where I changed what you suggested. So maybe you can just take a look, or maybe we don't need it anymore.
Yeah, right. Actually, we want to merge all the pending pull requests. So the maintenance of the old code will be all security fixes, all pending pull requests. So
Okay.
if you have pull requests open, we can have a look into them. I mean, somebody is using the old alpha version, right? And that's why we still appreciate pull requests. No problem. So to do pull request review link. Okay, cool.
And for the Nitro stuff, I would like to know what branch is basically the branch to check out which is working,
Yes. So
or where we should develop from.
yeah, the default branch will be master. So there's also a change. That's actually a perfect question, Michael. Thank you very much. I forgot to mention that. There were two branches in the old code base, and now there will be only one, and that is master. The reason is we had two branches because we wanted to have one staging environment and one production environment. And the staging environment should be always up to date with the develop branch, and everything that's going into production will be deployed manually with the triggered by a core member. We will have the same schedule, but we will only have one branch because the staging environment should be always on master. And when we trigger a deployment, we will release a new version. I think that's much more cleaner to release a version, also release a tag on GitHub with the new version that will go into production. We had the problem that we didn't know what was actually the last commit that was deployed on master and deployed on staging. It is terrible that we don't know that, but it happened to us, right? So I was asking, what was the latest commit that was deployed on master, so we can compare the difference from the current version on master, the current version on the alpha with the current version on staging. That wasn't possible because we didn't know what was actually the last commit deployed. All right.
Okay, and the second question to that is get an error.
You're getting an error. Can you show?
Yes,
the screen?
I checked out the Nitro web, and screen sharing. I need to install that extension.
I see.
But I can post the error basically in the chats, which is give me a second. Which is saying there's an incompatible module.
Yeah, that's
somewhere.
the ignore engines thing. So we're using an npm package that is incompatible with I don't know what, with your Node version, I think. You're talking about Nitro, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's that's all. I think that's in the README. One of these packages is an idiot. That's the wording in the README. Maybe we want to change the wording to tone it down.
Okay, I found it.
Yeah. Maybe we want to tone it down a little. I think it's not bad to say this package is incompatible with this or that Node version, even if it's not. Or we should just change or send a pull request to that package, updating the required Node version. Yeah.
Yeah, I think sending a pull request would be the nicer approach.
Yeah, I think so too. All right.
Okay. Yeah, but I still get the error.
And you have to say minus ignore engines. What is actually the error message? Is it incompatible Node versions?
There are two commands in the README I should execute. One is the cd into style guide and do a yarn install ignore engines. And that one fails with couldn't find match for whatever in refs. It's a git commit maybe.
That's
Commit
interesting.
maybe. So, yeah, wait a second.
Yeah, the current setup is not that reliable as the one on alpha because too few people have used it before.
That's basically what it does.
So ignore engines, couldn't find match for blah 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 in wow. Git yeah, right. So apparently from what I can tell is that in the package JSON you can double check it, but I think you see the reference to a Git repository online. Git //GitHub.
Yeah, iframe preview whatever.
Visual Jerk is the GitHub account name of Jörg. So this is definitely by him. Well, it's at least his repository, and someone referenced it in the package JSON. And maybe Jörg, in the meantime, has force pushed something, and the commits are gone now. All right. So
yeah,
maybe we want
this should definitely be changed.
Yes. Also, this will probably also break the Docker setup. I was telling Matt that the Docker setup might be more reliable. When I see this, I think the Docker setup will fail as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well then, I think it's 20 past, or almost 20 past. It's more than an hour of talking. What do you think? Is this a nice moment where we say, let's close the open source community meeting?
Yeah, it's fine for me.
Good.
Just for this week.
Just for this week, of course. Next week we will have another one. We just want to get a regular schedule that we have regular community meetings. Maybe we can also have one in German and one in English for those people who are too afraid to speak in English. We can decide on that.
But
We-
yeah, I mean, you would. The thing is, then you don't get the community really together because, yes,
I know.
and you know, at one point you have so many meetings that you're not productive anymore.
That's correct, but that's also one reason why we want to get more people involved. So at some point, maybe Matt is able to run the open source meetings in English on its own or something like that. We'll see. So the community can maintain itself at some point. That's the ultimate goal. I'm not going to be part in all of those meetings. Don't worry. It's just for now. All right.
Okay.
Well then, I would say let's close this. No? Marcus, any questions from your side?
No, I've just contacted Matt on Discord and continue from there.
Great. Cool. Awesome. Good. Then I'll stop the recording